We're happy to have you once again with us for the Phil Taylor Jones Show. I'm your host, Phil Taylor Jones, and this morning we are going to talk about something that was actually a suggestion from one of our friends of the show, Brandon. He brought to our attention that Oh Bastard is at it once again, doing something that's totally unconstitutional, and that's the nationalizing of local police. And as I got to thinking about it and reading some of the aspects, which we'll get into a little later on in the show, it sort of brought to mind another megalomaniac that had a nationalized police force that went through not only Nazi Germany, but other places that the Nazis occupied, and literally wreaked havoc among its people, committing murders and just all kinds of nasty stuff coming out of the woodwork. The Gestapo, yeah, Hitler, sort of makes you think of one and the same when you think of Oh Bastard and Hitler. Well, he's trying to do that here, and it sort of segues into his plan for making, I guess, the United States Islamic. Because I guess if he wants to come into this martial law thing, then I think he's trying to set all his ducks in order so that he'll have force that's standardized, nationalized, if you will, in every state, so that it will hopefully make his martial law thing, carry out. But we know that will never happen because American people systematically, will not bow to his tyranny. So let's get into this nationalized police thing. Let me put on my specs here so I can see what's going on. It says that the Obama administration, the old bastard administration, and its task force on 21st century policing are under fire after unveiling an unconstitutional plot to impose federal standards on state and local police forces. Now, this controversial Obama administration demands for national standards for police to come a few months after the United Nations boss, Ban Ki-moon, another knuckleheaded mushmouth. Oh boy, how that bastard got to be head of the UN is beyond me. Not that the UN is all that great. It's something that should have been disbanded and thrown out, because they've been a basic threat to America, for years. I mean, what a waste of an organization that is. He calls for American police to obey international standards. Oh boy. Let's just pick this apart. Local police serve the communities that they're in. It's not a thing of international policing or a standard by which they should operate. They operate based on the community needs. In big, sprawling metropolises like where I live in Los Angeles, the need may be great because you've got so much stuff going on that needs policing. Then you think about little towns like in the sitcom The Andy Griffith Show, where it was just Andy Taylor and Barney Fife. And that's all they needed, because it was a very small and rural community. They didn't need all of this highfalutin, SWAT teams and all of this stuff. They just needed a sheriff and a deputy. And Andy and Barney, they knew everybody. They grew up in the town. They went to school there. They went to high school. Their sweethearts were there. And it just worked out fine. Then you have those, mid-sized communities that need something that's in between the sprawling metropolis and that little rural setting like on the Andy Griffith Show. And so that's where your community-based policing comes in. It's there to fit the needs of the community. Now, if something big happens where you need the big guys to come in, and that's already part of the national standard, that's the National Guard. They come in when things get a little, smoky there, so that the police can't really handle it, or that the police need some help. So there again, Obastard's out of touch and wanting to impose his unconstitutional garbage on American people once again. Let me just pick apart a few other things here. Says the Justice Department, they want to throw that in too, make it part of the Justice Department. Can't speak this morning, I haven't had coffee yet, folks. The Justice Department agency that would be responsible for bribing and bludgeoning police agencies into submission to Obastard's national standards is among the outfits that have been abused to militarize law enforcement all across America. As this New American reported last year, amid the George Soros-funded chaos in Ferguson, Obastard attacked the militarization of law enforcement, even though his administration has played a crucial role in militarizing police departments nationwide. The federal government, of course, has no constitutional authority to meddle in state and local law enforcement to begin with. So there again, this guy is really overstepping his boundaries, as he always does, ignoring the Constitution and forcing garbage down the throats of American people. That seems to be the norm with this man, if you can call him that. It's this beast. So it's unconstitutional. I don't know how far it's going to get off the ground, but it's definitely something to look forward to. Getting out there and stopping or sending letters or whatever to these other muckety mucks. Something else came to the forefront too, and that was Al Sharpton. You see, this little circle of goofballs, when they all get together and make one gigantic goofball, it sort of sends up the red flags. Now we know how Al Sharpton feels about police. He wanted people to kill him. Now he's wanting to throw in with Obastard and have this militarization of police. Again, I don't want to throw all the police officers in one bucket. There are some out there that are wonderful. They're really out there to do what they say they're out there to do, and that's to protect and serve. To those officers, much kudos. Stay safe, and thank you for keeping us safe. But to those idiot rogues out there who, want to strap on their little tin badges and get their little pop guns and jump in their Dodge Chargers or their Ford Explorers or whatever it is they're driving now, and go around being all badass and trying to kill everybody they see, those are the ones that are bad enough already. And if you really militarize them and make them part of a more broader scheme, maybe give them better armament, and instead of the little Glocks or whatever they're using now, you put M16s or some assault rifles in their hands, you're gonna have dead bodies all over the joint. So I mean, this is a sadistic, idiotic move to something that quite simplistically could be, made better by working within the community. And there is an organization that is out there. It supports your local police, in your law enforcement, and that's what's needed. You need to take apart what's wrong, eradicate it, implement new stuff that's going to be more helpful to the community, and let the community handle the policing. They're the ones that are best known in the community. They know how the community works, and that's the way it should be. Leave stuff alone. You've mucked up stuff, bad enough, oh bastard, so just leave things alone. You and your buddy Al Sharpton. Why don't you go pay your taxes, Al, instead of, causing trouble and race baiting and being an overall jackass. These political, these religious people, our grandmother had a saying for them. They're cloudy weather Christians and sunshine devils. Look at this Pope sticking his nose in where it doesn't belong. And he can't even control the stuff that goes on in the Vatican.
Let alone talk.
Yeah, can't barely speak English. I mean, raking in all that money, you would think he'd get some English tutors, so that he could speak English, because in a lot of countries they speak English. Yeah, he's broken little English and he's standing up there mush mouth, just like that idiot that's in the United Nations. Oh God! And telling people about climate change and how they should help save the planet, and he's spending over $10 million a year in air conditioning. Oh please! And now here's this Reverend Al Sharpton, supposed to be thumping his Bible, and he's over here telling people how to, get together politically. Oh, what a bunch of dirtbags. Anyway, let me close this out.
He's the one that's promoting it and saying that he should do that.
Yeah.
Another article.
Yeah, like my brother said, he's promoting this garbage, Al Sharpton. Anytime these names come together, Al Sharpton, oh bastard, Eric Holder, and all of these sleazebags, that automatically sends up red flags for me not to want to do something that they're, so reverent about. In the end, the Constitution does not authorize bastards' national standards for police or the taxpayer-funded bribes being used to spread them nationwide. That means the scheme is unconstitutional on its face. Even if it were constitutional, though history shows that it would be a terrible and dangerous idea. Sort of brings back to mind that Gestapo we were talking about. Police departments should be responsible to the communities that fund them and that they are supposed to serve, not bastard, not Holder, and certainly not Sharpton, or the UN and its international standards. To allow further federalization of America's police agencies is sure a recipe for disaster. And this is true, folks. We don't need Gestapo-like people protecting us, because it becomes a thin line of protecting and lording it over. If you don't look at them in the right way, or if you don't address them in the right way, they'll kill you. That's what the Gestapo used to do. It was reported that they used to make people get down on their knees and kiss their boots. If you didn't, you got your brains blown out. It just perpetuates this God mode, if you will, over people. We don't need that. It's, like I said, it's bad enough now with these road cops, doing nasty things to citizens. So we don't need any federalization of police officers. We certainly don't need any more bastards, unconstitutional crapola. And Sharpton, you go back to your church or whatever and preach to your parishioners or whatever, and just keep your blunt nose out of politics. And if you must do something governmental, why don't you pay all those back taxes, you old pal? All right. We thank you once again for joining us for the Phil Taylor Jones Show, and you can readily see that we basically need to keep our eye on what's going on. As I've said before, it's okay to cast an eye at political candidates that are aspiring to be president in 2016, but we really need to keep an eye on O'Bastard, because he's still in there and very much in power. And obviously, based on what we were talking about today, obviously he's ready to do anything that's nasty. So we need to keep our eye on that wonderful piece of humanity. Anyway, it's a brand new week, folks. As of the recording of this show, it's Monday, maddening Monday. Hope you're not too mad. Anyway, have a good week, and we'll see you next time on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Hey, Brandon, thanks for the idea, buddy. We really appreciate your, devotion to the show and your friendship. You have a nice day out there too, Brandon. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks a lot.